Today I want to talk about how healing is a choice. And I know it doesn't always feel that way, but it is absolutely a choice. We have to decide that we are committed to our healing in order for us to create the changes and transformations that we really want. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been looking at my tennis shoes and I need to get some new ones. And they're so beat up and worn out because I have been doing so many wind sprints in the parking lot outside of my gym, and it just got me thinking about how much healing is a choice and how much I've healed from because I made the choice to, including a couple months ago or a few months ago, whenever it was, when the whole world shut down and the gym closed. I tried to start running because I wanted to get outside and move my body and focus on my fitness while everything was shut down. And I couldn't even walk very far without pain in my foot. So I tried to run a half marathon in the fall last year and moved too quickly because I was with somebody that kind of changed the plan of how we were going to run it at the last minute. And I tried to keep up and I pushed myself much harder than I should have. I went much faster and much further than I should have. And so I developed really bad tendonitis in my foot. I actually couldn't even finish the race, and it really hurt to walk for a while after that. And as I started trying to run again or even walk, that pain would come back, and it was really, really frustrating because I wanted to move and I wanted to be able to run and walk without pain. And I had a moment where I just felt like, well, maybe this isn't for me, maybe I'm not going to be able to run, etc., all the things that we say to ourselves. And instead, I made the choice to heal. I asked myself what I wanted. I want to be able to run. I have a love-hate relationship with running, but I want to be able to run. I wanted to be able to walk without being in pain. I didn't want to be hindered in this way anymore. And so I did a ton of research about the particular tendonitis that I have. It's not one of the common ones. I looked up shoes. I learned so much about running shoes that I never would have otherwise, never ever wanted to. And tried a few different pairs and finally found a pair that I was able to walk in without pain. And so I committed to walking every morning, and I walked 4.5 miles every morning. Sometimes I would have to switch shoes partway through to ease my foot back into using a running shoe. But I was able to get back to a point where now I pretty regularly run really fast wind sprints when I'm working out, and can go for runs, can go for hikes, can go for walks without pain. And this is not the first time that I've done this. So I talk a lot about my PTSD and how much my brain was impacted after my traumatic loss so badly. And I remember friends who were trying to help me feel better and trying to help me make peace with what was, saying maybe this is just how your brain is right now. And I refused to accept that. I used to have an amazing memory. I could remember everything. And all of a sudden I was this person who couldn't even remember that she was going home, couldn't put her life story in order, had no idea what she did on any Saturdays, and it wasn't okay with me. So despite the fact that my friends wanted me to accept it for what it was, I made the choice to heal. And I did as much as I could to do that. And I chose to do research. I learned so much about trauma and PTSD and the way the brain works. And it's really kind of funny now, looking back, I would read these books about the brain and trauma, and I would have to highlight them and read and reread them because I couldn't even remember what I was reading because I had PTSD. But I made the choice to heal, and I have continued to make that choice around my PTSD over the years. Even now, 5.5 years later, my brain is not what it was before. I don't track information the same way. I can't organize my thoughts in the same way. There are still times when I can't even read menus. I can't make sense of what I'm reading if I'm triggered or if I've pushed my brain too far. But my memory is pretty great. I remember things that I couldn't remember before. I can track things better. Like I said, I still have some areas where it's not perfect. It's not what it was before, and it doesn't function the way that it did before. It is certainly different. Same with the running example. I can't wear the same type of running shoes. I actually had to find a different type of running shoes, and I've had to kind of retrain my body in different ways. So I made the choice to heal my PTSD, and it was really hard. It was really hard, and I threw so many modalities at it. Same thing with when I stopped swallowing because of trauma and anxiety. I made the choice. There was one day when I was reading all about dysphagia, which is what it's called, and how some people spend the rest of their lives not being able to swallow. They have to go to physical therapy. They have to only drink liquids. And I said, nope, that is not the life I want. And I made the decision that I was going to heal it, that I was going to move through it. And I still have that flare up from time to time. And I continue making that decision that this is not what I want. I want things to be a different way, and I am committed to figuring out how to get there. And there are some things that we can't go back to the way they were before. Like I said, my brain is very different now. It does not work the way that it did before. I may always be somebody who, when I'm triggered in certain ways or anxious in certain ways, struggles to swallow. That might be true. And I have significantly shifted the way these things show up. I have taken back control of these areas of my life and my health and how I'm able to function or not function. So I just want you to keep that in mind. If there's something that you're struggling with, something that's not the way you want it to be, something that's hard or that hurts, if you have PTSD, if you're grieving, if you have a physical ailment, that is another way that our bodies respond to trauma and grief and anxiety and depression. If there's something that you're not happy with, don't accept it for what it is. Yes, it's where you're at right now, so don't be in resistance in a way that causes you more stress and discomfort and makes it worse. Accept where you're at and make the choice that you want something different, that you're committed to figuring out a path to healing. Again, you might not be able to heal whatever you're trying to heal completely. Things might be different. Things might never get back to 100%, but you are going to get yourself so much closer if you decide and you are committed to it and you see it through, even when it's really, really hard. I had no idea how capable I was, or we are as humans, of creating change and transformation and healing and reclaiming parts of ourselves that we think we've lost until I started doing this work. So make the choice. Decide that you are going to heal. You are going to reclaim this part of yourself. You are going to figure it out. And no matter who tells you that it can't be done, you just keep going. You find someone else. You have different conversations. And this work, when it comes to healing, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or anything else, you have to be your own advocate. There are so many moments in my healing from all the things I've been through over the last several years where I had to be my advocate because no one else was going to. It's very easy for other people to dismiss us, to explain things away, to try to get us to behave in certain ways or to accept things as they are. You have to be your own advocate and you have to be fierce in that. And don't stop. Don't stop until you have what you want and you keep going. My brain, again, it gets better and better all the time. There are very few times where I short circuit it, and I made the choice to push it past what it was capable of time and time again so that I could stretch it, so I could rewire it, so I could learn how to use it and work with it in a different way. And the same has been true of healing physical ailments. You have to choose to heal. So whatever's going on for you, just keep that in mind. It's a choice. It is a hard choice to make sometimes. It is a frustrating and exhausting choice. And sometimes we're very isolated in that. Sometimes everyone around us is trying to get us to accept or to have things be different than we want them to be. But you just keep making that choice and keep figuring out new ways to move towards what it is that you want. That's what I have for you today. I will catch you soon in another video.